Hi everyone, my name is Ryan. So I've been using Childe for a couple of days now, and I just wanted to share the stuff I learned and knew about Childe. So this will be kind of a mini guide from team comps, builds, and tips and tricks. And without further delay, let's get right into the video. Okay, for Childe's weapon, his best 4-star weapon will be the Battle Pass Bow. It gives crit rate and gives subgrouping power and AoE, in which Childe really shines. But if you're a free-to-play plebe like me, then Prototype Crescent is a good option if you can manage to hit the weak spot. But if you can't hit the weak spot like also me, then Rust and Hamayumi are solid choices as well. His best 5-star weapon is of course his new signature weapon, the Polar Star Bow. But if you have the likes of Skyward Harp or Amos Bow, then you don't have to pull for his new bow since the damage difference isn't really big. As for Childe's artifact choices, his current best in slot artifact set will be the Heart of Death, but you can also get away with some set combinations from 2-piece Heart of Death and 2-piece attack percent from either Shiminawa or Gladiators, or even 2-piece Heart of Death and 2-piece Wanderers, and lastly 2-piece Heart of Death and 2-piece Noblesse isn't too shabby either. These are some of the set combinations that you can do. As for its main stats, for your timepiece it will be attack percent, your goblet will be Hydro Cup, and last but not least, your circlet would depend from either crit rate or crit damage, depending on what you need. Substat Prios would be crit stats first, then attack or attack percent, then Elemental Mastery next, because you can still actually vaporize with Childe. And last but not least is Energy Recharge. Just remember, great substats will always beat set bonuses. Remind that always to yourself, and it will save you some resin and it will help you out a lot. Trust me, I know, cause just look at my Childe build, guys. Look at it! Now, let's get into the nitty gritty, the elemental skill. Ending it preemptively will put its CD from 6 to 36 seconds. It varies for how long you stayed in melee form, and ideally you want to put its cooldown at around the 12 to 15 seconds range. So how do you put it at that cooldown consistently, you may ask? Well, here are some combos that may help you. Childe's best combo is N3C, and stands for the number of normal attacks, and C is a charge attack. So doing 3 N3Cs puts its cooldown at 12 seconds. Doing 4 N3Cs puts its cooldown at 14 seconds. And lastly, doing 4 N3Cs, then sneaking in 3 normal attacks puts its cooldown at the 15-second mark. But okay, what if you don't like doing N3Cs? You know, just like me, because I prefer actually just spamming his normal attack. Well, spamming his normal attack is just fine. And here are some of the stuff that you can do. Doing his full normal attack string 2 times puts its cooldown at 13 seconds. Doing his full normal attack string 2 times and then sneaking in 3 normal attacks puts its cooldown at around 14 seconds. Lastly, doing his full normal attack string 2 times, then doing 1 N3C puts its CD at exactly 15 seconds. With this, you can do rough estimates, or you will have like a general idea on Childe's cooldown. Just keep on practicing, practice, and over time, everything will come down to muscle memory. And another tip, sorry, is that don't panic when you reach the 16 to 18 seconds cooldown, especially if you're trying to learn his elemental skill cooldown. Just calm down, and what you can do is just fuel energy to your party members. But do panic when your CD is at 20 second stops. That's the overheat mark. Just don't put it at 20 seconds, please. If you are still struggling to maintain his CD, then TwoBThic's Childe CD guide will help you out a lot as well. because it actually helped me out a lot too. The link will be in the description. It is a really good guide by TwoBThicc, and he deserves a lot more subs by the way, so go do check out his channel. With Childe, you can end his melee stance manually, obviously, but there is a better way to end his melee form, and that's by swapping to another character. Why is it better? Because it's faster and more efficient, because you can immediately funnel energy to your other characters, which can come in clutch in the likes of Spiral Abyss. But the benefit of manually ending your melee form is that you can see its cooldown, and with that info, you know when you can exactly swap back to Childe. And of course, if you're still learning his elemental skill cooldown, then I would recommend manually ending it first, then later on, you can do the character swap trick. Another tip is that if you know you can kill your opponents with your elemental skills full duration, then just stay on melee form to finish them off. It will save your team's bursts, and there's really no point in saving your cooldown if your opponent is already in lethal range to begin with, especially in Abyss, just like what I did in this clip. Lastly, this is more of an opinion based, but a tip I still would say is that your range burst is better than your melee one. It has a faster animation, it's more guaranteed to vaporize, but it depends on your rotation, of course. And lastly, it refunds energy, which is good since a lot of Childe's team variations has no Hydro unit to actually fuel him. Not that this melee burst is bad, but in my experience, it's harder to vaporize with and costs you some of your elemental skills duration. Now, let's get into the last section of this guide, and I think the most important one is Childe's team comps. So, there are two teams that Childe is currently doing well with, and that's the International Childe and the Taser Childe. Let's talk about the International Childe first. International team first, with Childe, Xiangling, Bennett, and Sucrose. Overall, this is his most meta team comp. It's really solid. It has really great AoE, of course, and the best part about this is that because of Xiangling vaporizing, your single target damage isn't really lackluster. And yes, the single target damage is good enough that you can kick Mago Kenki's ass, no joke. But if you don't have Sucrose, maybe there's someone better, you know. Kazuha is the best variation so far, but of course, not everyone has a Kazuha, so Sucrose it is. But let's say somehow you don't have Sucrose, well, you can put in Zhongli. Zhongli is a really solid alternative as well, and his shield is very valuable since Childe is very vulnerable to staggering or knockbacks, which the only thing I hate about Childe. And overall, Zhongli is just a solid unit to replace Sucrose. The only problem is your grouping or your mobbing power will be a bit lackluster, just slightly, because Kazuha and Sucrose has better grouping and mobbing power, and the VV Shred is really good. But of course, like I said, Zhongli is a good alternative. As for Childe's second team is his Taser team. This is what your Taser team will generally look like. You have Childe, of course, Beidou, Fischl, and Bennett. Bennett can boost up your Beidou and Fischl's burst. Bennett can boost your Beidou's burst, and he can boost up Oz as well. This team has a really solid AoE. The problem is that its single target is a bit lackluster. If you don't have Bennett, then Kazuha or Zhongli will be good alternatives. But unfortunately, I don't have a Kazuha, so there's that. And one of the problems with this team comp is that actually there is just a better variation, which is the Sucrose Taser. That's why you really don't see Childe Taser all that much anymore. But it's still a good choice if you somehow just dislike using the vaporized version. I mean the international version. Oh, and Fischl can be replaced, by the way. She can be replaced by Raiden Shogun, but as you can see, I don't have Raiden Shogun, so unfortunate. But yeah, these are Childe's two teams so far, and both teams are solid overall, especially in Current Abyss, wherein you really need lots of AoE and such. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you find this mini guide to be helpful. If you still have more questions, please feel free to ask at the comment section down below. I'll do my best to answer all of your questions. And anyways, I just hope this guide is helpful to you guys. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And like I said, if you have complaints or if you need more questions about Childe or his team comps or his builds, Childe, I'm talking here. Anyway, yeah, feel free to ask in the comment section below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.